Welcome back. This is the Eight of Pentacles episode, and today I have 8 cards on the table. This journey through the tarot minors has been really useful to me, so I hope that if the content is resonating as well with you, that you will support the channel, give the video a thumbs up, anything you can do to help help the work that I do. It's greatly appreciated. If you're new, my name is Sadhana, and a warm welcome to you. So let's look at the cards on the table today. You know, it's taken a long time. Good evening, Aria. It's taken a long time to digest the tarot. It's not something that happened in the first 5 years, even the first 10 years. This is a process. And every tarot challenge you undertake, every new deck that you take a bit more time to dive into, it really does make a difference. Because without that, it's hard to weave threads among seemingly disparate systems of tarot. And tonight with this card, I'm going to take my time, and I've got quite a few different kinds of decks on the table. And as I've been sitting here waiting to go live, just thinking about how they aren't so very different. So I want to let's start maybe with the Herb Crafter Tarot, which you can see on the just to the right with the pot on the stove, and there is some fabric that is being put in the turmeric in the hot water. And then out through the window you can see some clothes drying on the line. Sorry, just need to get comfortable. In this deck, each of the numbers is associated with a different part of the plant. And the 8s are connected to root. And I think this is important. And if you just step back and take a moment and think about what root informs. If you look at the Crowley Thoth Tarot, you can begin to see how important the root, the earth, the soil is to the success, if you will, of the flowers or the fruit on the plant. And I am going to talk about master and apprentice and all of that because it's all connected. There's another piece here that I have overlooked for many years, and that is the element of air in this card. So where does that come from? And if you look at the Herb Crafter Tarot, I'm not even sure that it's discussed in the guidebook, or the element of air as discussed in the Yonasa Yos through the practice, pranayama practice that this young woman is practicing in this card. And this likely has to do with the number 8 on the Tree of Life in the Sephra of Hod. And understanding that the 8s balance the 7s has also been really important to my journey with these two numbers. I think the 7s and the 8s are kind of difficult to read, and understanding the relationship between the two of them can be invaluable. So in the Sephra of Hod, which is associated with the planet Mercury, We also have an element of air connection. And that begins to make sense. This is further amplified by thinking about where we are zodiacally, and that is in the first decan of Virgo, which is in the autumn in North America. Can be a very windy time, or I mean, technically it's the end of summer, but it feels like early autumn. And well, actually, that's not true. The beginning of Virgo is at the end of August. I'm thinking more the end of Virgo season. All right, so take what you will from what I said. The wind, the movement of air definitely is connected to the mutability of this planet, the mutability of this sign, I should say. The changeability, the sign of a changing season. All of the mutable signs initiate the change of season. Change is in the air. So there is an adaptability that is being asked of us as well, too. So let's go back to the Herb Crafter Tarot, where we see fabric clothes being dyed in a root turmeric. This is so profound, actually. I'm thinking of the color orange, its connection to the sacral chakra, how the 7s and 8s are down there low on the tree of life. You know, there are so many connections in tarot, and not everyone is going to come through in any given reading, but it's absolutely brilliant, this mandala that can be woven here. So not only is the number 8, right, if you turn it on its side, symbolic of change and the energy of perpetual motion, and the lemniscate, maybe even the Ouroboros, the hourglass. But it also is this first decan of all mutable signs. And here we are in the earth element. And the root piece really connects us to the earth. So turmeric being a root. And if you think about the idea of health and wellness and the benefits of turmeric for that, my mind just goes, okay, well, this is also the place of Mercury the healer. So there are an infinite number of associations we can bring in here. I want to read you a couple of lines from the Herb Crafter. It has to do with dedication. The longer fabric soaks in the dye bath, the more vibrant and lasting the colors. Hard work may sometimes take its toll. It can feel isolating and frustrating. Do it anyway. Turmeric stabilizes the body, increasing vitality and strength. Remember to care for yourself at the root. If you are struggling with diminished self-worth, teach yourself to craft. Teach your craft to others. Look for ways to engage the community in your projects. Turmeric medicine survives because it has been passed down through generations. Trust the value of keeping time-honored traditions alive. And so the layers are really infinite here, and that idea of passing things on certainly connects us to this idea of a master and apprentice that is connected to this card. And is the master in the Three of Pentacles or in the Eight of Pentacles? Is the apprentice in the Three of Pentacles or the Eight of Pentacles? And I think it's a dance. It's a dance of both. And the Eight of Pentacles, especially when it shows up in a card looking a lot like this one here, and maybe even in a card like the Herb Crafter, reminds me of how important it is to do what you love and love what you do. Because when we choose to do what we love and love what we do, we begin to work towards a place of balance. And suddenly we're no longer working in a job or a way of life that makes us feel uncomfortable, uneasy every single day. And so this may speak to a new profession. It may speak to a new way of being. But ultimately, whatever this Eight of Pentacles represents for you, it's going to restore your wellness and restore balance. And we see that. So this is the Tarot of the Ozarks. Just a beautiful painting, creative colors. And the energy of the root chakra, the sacral chakra, I see in the flowers the energy of balance, the beauty of the arrangement. It's just such a gorgeous card. And the blue background. So the other thing here too is that we're looking at a solar decan. So I'm looking at a sunny sky here, bluebird day, which we also see in the Crowley Tarot. And this card it's one of the first cards that ever caught my attention in this deck. And maybe because it's beautiful. Yes, there are some jagged leaves that protect the flowers, but I think that also comments on balance. Virgo, also ruled by Mercury, which is another connection to Hod, to the 8. So this is a very important card of Virgo season. And the Nuances, I mean, this is one of the, it's been a while, I've had this deck for a long time, but fell in love with this deck. Any deck that has Nadi Shodhana, which is the practice of alternate nostril breathing on a card, is going to capture my intention as a yogi. And alternate nostril breathing ultimately is a practice to bring the body into balance. And there's this beautiful, earthy, grounded connection. She is well rooted and fully aware of her foundation. And it is from this foundation that we can begin to create a sense of lightness, of being, and find clarity. And ultimately, Nadi Shodhana will help to pierce the third eye chakra to create clearer vision, better perspective, wider viewpoints, clairvoyancy even. So there we go back to maybe a touch of air, and she is outside. And of course, pranayam connects us to the idea of breath and the element of air. Really is extraordinary. And then I'm thinking, okay, this is also a solar decan. The sun is on the center of the tree of life, which is also the heart. And these layers upon layers upon layers can over time become available to you. It's not something you're going to learn through studying a little white book. It's about practicing and using the cards and looking at them and working with the cards in different ways on a regular basis. So I hope this helps in understanding this card. So individually, I'm going to go through these cards. This is the Yonasios. The language is Galatian, and this deck, if you haven't seen it before, comes in. It seems to be regularly republished in slightly different forms. Crowley Thoth Tarot, Herb Crafter. This deck here is the Tarot of Echoes. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Let me check the back. Yes, it is. Tarot of Echoes. And I think of the craft of making a violin. It makes me think of the movie, The Red Violin. If you've never seen that, oh my God, what a production. And if you are a fan of tarot, also another reason to watch The Red Violin. Dedication, focus, finding harmony and balance through doing what you love and loving what you do. And also, isn't it interesting too, that it's through air, through sound, that we make music. And then also thinking here too about Venus. Now, just a second. No, we're not in Libra, we're in Virgo. Okay, so that doesn't fit. Yeah. Lovely, lovely. So I put this card on the table. This is the Robin Wood. And I encourage you, if you are new to this, that don't get messed up with the old guy in this picture and the young guy in this picture. These experiences happen throughout life. Some children are born knowing, and some adults never learn. And this idea of apprenticeship and mastery is an ongoing discipline. And I think part of that discipline, especially later in life, is finding the confidence and the courage to let go of what it is you don't love. I haven't had this deck out yet in this series. This is the Ehrenberg Tarot, one that I've yet to really have a close look at. But I had it out today and I pulled out this card and I thought, this reminds me of me working to the wee hours of the morning on sewing projects. So while my children were growing up, one of them was a competitive dancer and one was a competitive skater. And every year there were hundreds and hundreds of costumes to be made. And it was a love. It really was a love for me. Of course, there's deadlines and huge headaches and fittings and all of that. But I loved the creative process and designing costumes. And I was always, very detail oriented, and there's just so much joy when you love the detail of your work and you learn and you grow and you learn about new threads or fabrics or techniques. So I appreciate the close-up work here in this card. This is the Tarot of the Ozarks by Laurie LePage, or Tarot de Ozar. It looks like it's a French deck, but it's actually a play on words from the Ozarks, which is a area in the U.S. And then the center is the Herb Crafter. So interesting contrast, right? Sorry, Druidcraft, between the old master and the young man. Also note the spider. Spiders in Eight of Pentacles. Ooh, I didn't. Wait. I've got one more. I can't believe I forgot this card. Oh my goodness. Okay. It's funny how one card leads to another card. This is one of my favorite cards from this deck. This is Shadowscapes Tarot. Do you know that I just learned something about spider webs? And maybe I knew it before, but it just came back because I was working with some children who were talking about this. And the circular webs are sticky, but the lines that connect to the center are not. And those are what the spider walks on themselves. And so when I see spider webs, I think of the myriad of connections, dedication to work, and so much that is connected to this card. But please, if you haven't thought about this idea of harmony and balance restored, that is a possibility through this card, have another look at it. Yeah, I'm just looking at Arya's comments. If you haven't seen this movie, it is absolutely incredible and worth trying to find. And your mom was a seamstress. Yeah, it's a lost art. You know, a lot more people used to sew their clothes. All right, so my job here is to find top 5. All right, let's start with that. And I think it's important to include the Crowley card because this is the only one where we see or we literally feel the contact to the roots, which has become a really important part of this card for me. All right, so top 5, left to right. Tarot of Echoes, Yonasiaus, Crowley Thoth, Herb Crafter, and Shadowscapes. Thank you. And I will be carrying on. This series will conclude this year in 2024. And if you haven't seen Top Tarot Trumps, be sure to check out that as well too. Thank you so much for following. Take good care. Namaste.